Breaking news: Canada strikes back. Hold on to your toques, folks, because things just got interesting in the world of international trade. Canada has made a bold move that could shake up the entire automotive market. Canada just dropped a bombshell on the US, slapping a hefty 25% tariff on cars and trucks imported from south of the border. This unprecedented move is sending shockwaves through the industry. That's right, America's friendly northern neighbor just threw a wrench into the gears of the US auto industry. The ramifications of this decision could be far-reaching and complex. This isn't some polite diplomatic disagreement. This is a full-blown trade war. The stakes are high, and the consequences could be severe for both sides. This move comes hot on the heels of the US imposing its own set of tariffs just days earlier. The tit-for-tat measures are escalating tensions between the two nations. On April 2, 2025, the US government announced a series of tariffs on various goods, including steel and aluminum from Canada. This was seen as a direct challenge to Canadian industries. The Canadians, known for their love of hockey and maple syrup, are apparently not known for backing down from a fight. Their response was swift and strategic. They responded swiftly and decisively, targeting a sector of the US economy that's sure to get attention: the auto industry. This sector is a critical part of the American economic landscape. This is a developing story with potentially huge implications for both countries. The ripple effects could impact everything from car prices to international relations. We'll be diving deep into the details, exploring the reasons behind these tariffs, their potential impact on American automakers, and what this all means for the future of US-Canada trade relations. The story is far from over. Stay tuned for more updates as this situation continues to unfold. Tit for tat, the tariff tussle. Let's rewind for a second and understand how we got here. The relationship between the US and Canada has always been complex, filled with moments of both cooperation and conflict. It all started with the US imposing tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, citing national security concerns. This move was unexpected and sent shockwaves through the economic landscape. Now you might be thinking, national security? From Canada? The country that sends us ice hockey players and Celine Dion? It seems almost absurd, doesn't it? And you wouldn't be alone in that thought. The Canadian government, led by Prime Minister, you'll need to insert the name of the Canadian Prime Minister, as of April 3, 2025 here, wasted no time in condemning the US tariffs as unjustified and harmful to both economies. They argued that such measures would only strain the long-standing friendship between the two nations. They vowed to retaliate with their own set of tariffs, specifically targeting products that would inflict maximum economic pain on the US. This was a strategic move designed to hit where it hurts the most. And what better target than the American auto industry, a sector already grappling with its fair share of challenges. The auto industry is a cornerstone of the American economy, making it a prime target. These tariffs are essentially a tax on imported goods, making them more expensive for consumers. This means higher prices at the checkout counter. In this case, Canadians buying American-made cars and trucks will now have to shell out significantly more. This could lead to a decrease in sales and a ripple effect throughout the industry. The hope is that this will pressure the US government to reconsider its tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum. The stakes are high and the outcome is uncertain. It's a high-stakes game of economic chicken, with both sides hoping the other will blink first. The world watches closely, waiting to see who will make the next move. American automakers caught in the crossfire. So, who's feeling the heat from Canada's retaliatory tariffs? American automakers, that's who. These tariffs are a direct response to the trade policies implemented by the US government, creating a tense economic standoff. The US auto industry, already facing challenges from rising production costs and increased competition from foreign manufacturers, is now staring down the barrel of a 25% tariff on exports to its biggest trading partner. This is a significant blow to an industry that relies heavily on international trade. This is not good news. Canada is the largest export market for US-made cars and trucks, accounting for a significant chunk of their sales. The impact of these tariffs could be devastating. These tariffs will make American vehicles more expensive in Canada, potentially forcing consumers to look elsewhere. Canadian buyers might start favoring European or Asian brands, which could offer more competitive pricing. This could translate into lower sales, reduced profits, and even job losses for American automakers. The entire industry could see a downturn, affecting thousands of workers and their families. The ripple effects of these tariffs could be felt throughout the entire U.S. auto industry supply chain, impacting everything from parts suppliers to dealerships. The economic consequences could be far-reaching. It's a lose-lose situation for everyone involved, except perhaps for foreign automakers who now have an opportunity to swoop in and grab market share. They could benefit from the shifting dynamics in the market. Stellantis stalled a Windsor Warning. The situation is particularly dire for Stellantis, the automotive giant behind iconic brands like Jeep, Ram, and Dodge. They recently announced the temporary shutdown of their assembly plant in Windsor, Ontario, laying off thousands of workers. This move highlights the immediate and very real consequences of this trade war. Windsor, a city whose fortunes are deeply intertwined with the auto industry, is now facing an uncertain future. The Stellantis plant closure is a stark reminder of the potential fallout from these tariffs, particularly for communities whose livelihoods depend on cross-border trade. The shutdown also serves as a warning shot to other American automakers with operations in Canada. It demonstrates that these tariffs are not just empty threats, they have the potential to disrupt production, impact jobs, and inflict real economic pain. Section 5. Exceptions to the rule. Who dodged the tariff bullet? Now, before you start picturing tumbleweeds rolling through Detroit, it's important to note that not all American automakers are feeling the full brunt of Canada's retaliatory tariffs. The Canadian government, perhaps in a bid to minimize the damage to their own economy, has carved out some exceptions. Automakers with manufacturing plants in Canada, such as Ford, General Motors, and, yes, even Stellantis, are exempt from the tariffs. This means they can continue to import vehicles built in their U.S. plants into Canada without incurring the additional cost. Additionally, the tariffs do not apply to auto parts, which make up a significant portion of U.S.-Canada trade in the automotive sector. This exemption is crucial for maintaining the integrated nature of the North American auto industry, where parts often cross borders multiple times during the manufacturing process. Section 6. NAFTA's long shadow, a historical perspective. To truly grasp the significance of this trade spat, we need to take a trip down memory lane and revisit the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA as it's commonly known. Signed in 1994, NAFTA dramatically reshaped the landscape of trade between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. One of the most significant impacts of NAFTA was the integration of the North American auto industry. Tariffs on cars and car parts were gradually phased out, leading to a surge in cross-border trade and investment. American automakers, enticed by lower labor costs and favorable regulations, set up shop in Mexico and Canada, blurring the lines of what it meant for a car to be American-made. While NAFTA had its share of critics, there's no denying its profound impact on the auto industry. This latest trade dispute, however, threatens to unravel decades of integration and cooperation. Section 7. Windsor worries. A city on edge. Back in Windsor, Ontario, the mood is somber. The temporary closure of the Stellantis plant has sent shockwaves through the community, leaving thousands of workers fearing for their livelihoods. This city, once a bustling hub of automotive manufacturing, is now grappling with the very real possibility of a prolonged economic downturn. Windsor's dependence on the auto industry is no secret. Generations of families have earned their living building cars and trucks, contributing to the city's identity as a blue-collar town. But with the future of the industry hanging in the balance, many are left wondering if those days are numbered. The situation in Windsor is a microcosm of the broader economic anxieties gripping communities across North America. The uncertainty surrounding trade relations, coupled with the ever-evolving nature of the auto industry itself, has left many feeling vulnerable and apprehensive about the future. Section 8. The road ahead. Uncertainty looms. As the dust settles on Canada's retaliatory tariffs, one thing is clear: the road ahead is paved with uncertainty. The U.S. and Canada, two countries with a long history of economic cooperation, now find themselves locked in a trade war with no clear end in sight. The impact of these tariffs will continue to reverberate throughout the North American auto industry, impacting businesses, workers, and consumers alike. The situation is fluid and complex, with the potential for further escalation if both sides refuse to budge. What's needed now is a commitment to dialogue and a willingness to find common ground. The alternative, a protracted trade war, would be detrimental to both economies, jeopardizing jobs, stifling innovation, and eroding the deep economic ties that bind these two nations. Section 9. Buckle up. This could be a bumpy ride. So what does the future hold for the US auto industry in the wake of Canada's bold tariff move? That, my friends, is the million-dollar question. One thing's for sure, it's going to be a bumpy ride. The outcome of this trade dispute will depend on a multitude of factors, including the political will on both sides, the resilience of the auto industry, and the ever-changing dynamics of the global economy. It's a high-stakes game of chess, with each move carrying significant consequences. One thing is certain, this trade war is a stark reminder of the interconnected nature of the global economy. When two of the world's largest trading partners engage in a tit-for-tat tariff battle, the ripple effects are felt far and wide. So buckle up, folks, because the road ahead is uncertain and we're all along for the ride.